Hey everyone, today I'm going to review the SenseLabs Quick Keys Shortcut Remote. First of all, big thanks to SenseLab for sending this review unit over. This is priced at US $89.99, so it's kind of pricey. But just to give you the bottom line up front, this is a compact shortcut remote that looks great, has excellent build qualities. It has 8 physical shortcut buttons and a dial here. All are very customizable. This remote is very functional and it works without any glitches, so it performs really well. This is the pen tablet medium that SenseLabs is also selling. This is US $279. I've already reviewed this in a separate video. If you want to check out that review, the link is in the video description below. So if you buy this as a bundle, it's $359. You get to save $10 off the remote. So these are the items included. In the box, we have the carrying case for all these items. USB-C to USB Type-A charging cable. USB Type-A wireless receiver, and if you happen to be using a computer with only USB-C, they have this USB-C to USB Type-A adapter. This zip case is very well made. It's a hard case with this nice tough fabric. So inside, you get a few pockets. This white one here and a small pocket here for the connectors, and this is the cable which should go here, and there is this pocket here for the remote, so you can keep everything in this case very nicely. Design of this shortcut remote looks fantastic. The build quality is solid. I like the textured surface, the rounded corners. On the back, there is this big piece of rubber so that you can put this on the table and there is no way for it to move, or you can hold it in hand. This width is actually narrow enough for your thumb to go to the other side, so you can press the buttons. You can reach any of the buttons very easily. Just for comparison purposes, I have this 6.7-inch iPhone 12 Pro Max on the side here, with a case installed, so you can see this is about the same size as the phone but narrower, and the thickness is slightly thicker than the phone. The weight is 142 grams, so this is about the same weight as some of the smaller phones. That's the USB-C port for charging the battery. The battery life is rated to last for at least 25 hours up to 50 hours, and even if this runs out of battery, you can still use it while it's being charged. At the bottom, there is the power light indicator. When this is orange, it means it's slow on battery. A full charge will take 1.5 hours. This is the power toggle, and that blue light there is the connection. So when it's blinking, it's searching for a connection. When it's solid blue, it's connected. This dial here is very smooth, and there is this indent here for you to turn the dial easily. On the sides, you see some grooves, and right here in the middle is a button for you to switch between the different functionality of the dial, so you can have the dial to zoom in and out, change brush size, and you can use this button to switch between those two functions. You can program up to 4 functions for the dial, and there is this light around the dial which is customizable. You can also customize the light to follow the function. So for example, you can customize yellow to be changing brush sizes, and then customize green for zooming in, so you can press and the color will change and you know exactly what function you are using. So that is actually quite useful. Right here at the bottom are 8 physical shortcut buttons. The clicks are very firm, same as this click here. They have very good feedback. And you can use combination keys. So for example, you can use control space to zoom in by pressing these 2 buttons at the same time. This display between the buttons is an OLED display. I'm not sure what's the resolution, but that's not as important as being able to show the names of the shortcuts. So you can display the names either horizontally like this or vertically. There are 8 physical shortcut buttons which are all customizable, and here is this set button. You can create up to 5 shortcut sets. So for example, you can create a group of shortcuts for Adobe Photoshop, another group for Illustrator, another group for Clip Studio, and then you can just switch between all the different groups of shortcuts using this set button here. And the names of all those shortcut sets will appear here. You can rename the shortcut sets as well as rename everything here. With 8 buttons here and the ability to create up to 5 shortcut sets, you can create up to 40 shortcuts. The thing about this remote shortcut is this is extremely customizable. So you can customize the light, you can customize the functionality, you can turn on or turn off different functionality, rename the shortcuts, rename the sets. There is a lot of customization you can do. Let me show you what the driver can do. So this is the same driver that the tablet is using. If you buy the remote separate from the tablet, and you want to use the single USB wireless receiver, you have to connect the cable to your computer and then set the remote to use the same wireless receiver. It's actually pretty straightforward. So let's just go in to see what you can customize here. So you can customize up to 4 functions for the dial. If you just want to use 2, you can disable the other 2 like what I've done here. To customize the dial, just click on the dial and you have this window here, so you can change the dial sensitivity. You can also assign a specific color for the shortcut that you want. And for the shortcuts, if you want specific keyboard shortcuts, you can set those here as well. And you can rename the shortcut here as well if you want to. And all the buttons here are customizable to specific keyboard shortcuts, the modifier keys. There are also shortcuts for the tablets. For example, if you are using the tablet with multiple displays, you may want to select switch display here. There are also navigation shortcuts, application shortcuts, like whether you want to launch certain apps, you can do so by setting the shortcut here. You can set mouse clicks, eraser, or you can disable the button if you don't want to use the buttons. So here you can see I have created 5 shortcut sets for these 5 programs that I'm using. So each shortcut set you can customize 8 totally different shortcuts. So this is actually quite convenient, especially if you use multiple apps frequently. Under Customize, you can set the quick keys orientation. This is the orientation of the text on the remote. So you can actually have the text 180 degrees, which means the dial will be at the bottom, the buttons at the top. You can rename the quick keys, the name here, and you can set the sleep timer. So after a certain amount of time, the remote will go to sleep. This will help you conserve battery life, and this is the screen brightness of the OLED. This shortcut remote should be very useful if you are using Windows 10 tablets or those 2-in-1 convertibles where you can fold the display to the back. And now let's see how well the shortcut remote performs. So this app that I'm using is Adobe Photoshop, and I'm using this on this Dell 2-in-1 convertible. This is a touch screen, so it supports finger gestures. So let me show you whether or not you can undo. So I'm just drawing some lines here, and let's undo. And I can redo as well. I can also press Control Space to zoom in, Control Alternate Space to zoom out. But in this case, it doesn't make sense to set those modifier keys because you can actually just use your fingers to zoom in and out. I want to show you that because I want to show you that it's possible to use combination keys as keyboard shortcuts. The dial also works flawlessly. If you're using a Windows tablet without a keyboard, and you don't want to use a keyboard for whatever reason, then maybe having such a shortcut remote here by the side will be very useful, because having access to some shortcuts will improve productivity significantly. If you are using a laptop or a desktop and you already have a keyboard and you use a pen tablet, I'm not sure if it's necessary to buy a shortcut remote, because with a keyboard you can get access to all keyboard shortcuts. However, if you want to draw with one hand and use your hand, the other hand, for keyboard shortcuts, there are certain keyboard shortcuts that are kind of difficult to press, especially if you have to stretch your fingers like this to reach the buttons here and here. So that's where the shortcut remote may be helpful. Or if you are using a Windows 10 tablet that does not have a keyboard, then obviously this is going to be really useful. Another scenario where this shortcut remote will be useful is when you don't want to remember the combination keys for the shortcuts, because certain apps, they may have the same name for the shortcuts but they use different combination keys. So with this shortcut remote, you can just set those combination keys into a single button here and just switch between different apps using the set button. So to conclude, this is a good looking shortcut remote with fantastic build quality, and it does its job. It performs well without any glitches. So it may be expensive, but you can decide whether or not this is worth the money for you.